Okay.
Alrighty. Alright, so
Okay.
here's where we're at. I am very excited. Very excited. This is finally the pieces that I have dreamed of for so long. Um,
Yeah.
alright, so what you got here is you're in a branch. You can select the folder. You go in here, folder loads, and then you get the markdown. And you can see all the things. You can then have yourself a little preview, or you can have only a preview. You can have, if you were to click on, say, hammer, hammer will give you, when you're in preview, hammer will give you the mermaid chart.
Ah, that's nice. I like that. I
Yeah.
can spot that one actually.
And then, yeah, so the thing I wanted to stress is that the most beautiful thing about Git when it comes to this type of work is the supreme ability it has to be cached very well, because all the data is referenced by hash, so you know exactly what has and hasn't changed, which is perfect from a caching perspective. And so you can keep data around and you know for sure that it's exactly the same as what the server has. And so if you've got it in your cache, you just grab it and you chuck it up. And that's why, like it takes a little while to load for the first time, but then when you load, when you snap back to it again, it's like very quick. So,
Nice.
yeah, so that's all good. This bug, I fixed that. I realized that in the check I was doing that loads all the agents on my side in the automated testing, it doesn't actually check that all the um, commands that you add to the agent are also valid. So I added that check in, which causes this one to fail, and then I have committed that to HAL. So if you dump your application data, you will see a new version of this. So
Grand.
if I go application storage, clear site data, and then I delete that so that it doesn't try to load a remote thread.
Yeah, this is also needed if the repo's been updated.
Yeah, if
Gives
HAL's been
yourself a place
updated.
to.
Yeah. I'll fix
Yeah.
that real soon, dude. It's like my favorite thing in the world is going to be to fix that problem because it sucks. It's weird that we have that problem, but that's just good, I guess. And here you see a modified version of. Oh, fuck. Sorry. Wrong file. My bad.
Yeah.
Christ. Here's the modified version of HAL 3 that comes in by default. It's now without the backchat thread command.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the background, what's going on, just so you're aware of what's happening. This is the HAL repo. Anytime you do a commit to it, in the background, I've set up a webhook. The webhook goes and hits the long thread deployment. It gives a little tick if the last delivery was successful. But what that does is every time you push to the GitHub one, it triggers the deployment to pull in the latest version. And that's why if you clear your application data, it thinks you're coming in as a new user, so it makes a new user account rather than sticking on the old one, and that defaults to having the latest version of HAL. So all I got to do to fix that problem is allow you to, within your existing actor branch, to be notified and to pull down from the main branch when it changes, and then you don't have to do the clear application data thing again.
Yeah. Cool.
It's just a bit funny because of how the branching model works. I never really saw that one coming. It's a weird kind of a goofy fault. Like, like it's sort of like a either a really really bad app has that, or one that's like built entirely of blockchains. Those are the only kinds of apps that have
So
that.
stupid or super intelligent.
I know,
Yeah.
it's like so intelligent it hurts. You're like, God, just do the basics first. Christ. Um. Okay. And what other things were there? I fixed that big ass fault, the one that you couldn't send a big message on. That took 2 days. You
Yeah.
you can be grateful anytime. But
I'll
so
send you some flowers.
yeah. But in testing that tool out, I found that tokenizer, which is quite interesting to see what you know.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It's
Where
fun,
was it?
right?
Yeah,
Well,
that was quite interesting.
that is there. So it's yeah, the I can do this calculation in the browser or on the server side for us. I don't want to because it pulls in around about like half a megabyte extra of data, which is painful. So this
Well,
thing
the times you
costs
need it
data.
are pretty rare, but
Yeah.
could be quite interesting.
Yeah, we kind of we need it when we start hitting the issue with threads getting too big for the context window. We'll probably hit that at a guess. I'd say next week sometime. But so we'll need to know. But even then, the response that we'll get back from OpenAI will be like, "Oh, buddy, too many tokens." And then we'll deal with it there. So even then, I don't think I need to actually, strictly speaking, count the tokens. But yeah, that's how it works. What I thought was interesting to note is that the under the hood, even though they've nicely presented it with buttons, the way that tokenizing happens is different between GPT-4 and GPT-4o. So that would suggest to me that they have GPT-4o is not just a bunch of patches on GPT-4. It's actually very different under the hood. It's probably got a lot of the same mechanics and the same training data, but the tokenizer is very different in code. It's obviously looks the same with this basic thing, but yeah, it is actually a different under the hood. It's a different model, and I think it's to do with this part here, like non. See how it tokenized those differently?
Four difference of four. Oh, that's 57.
Yeah, that's
What do you got there?
that's kind of weird. It's almost like it can do wide, like international character sets or something.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, look, so in 4.0 it treats don't as one token, but in this other one it treats it as two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, subtle, but
down there, and I don't know what these question marks. Is that just white space? Underline? No.
Oh, they're like wingdings.
Underline bytes. Yeah.
Oh, that's an emoji character. That's what that is.
Right.
Oh, so 4.0 only needs 4 bytes to represent it, and 4 needs 6. Yeah. Oh, fun times. Fun times. Do you mind if I just start going through the list of things from our thread, or was there something you were eager to jump in with?
No, I've got loads to say, but let's just go through the thread and yeah.
Okay. So where am I? So this is fixed.
Yep.
You now have unlimited size for your prompts. I'm sure you'll find another limit to hit, but that existing one of 65k is removed. It should never have been there. I didn't realize that was just a design limitation of DenoKV. I have worked around it and got a little bit of a speed increase for us while I was there.
So what else have we been saying? Good launch should know to
yeah, orchestration. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah, the orchestrator. Yeah, that was yesterday, wasn't it?
yeah.
So I think it's probably further up.
Some of these I don't
Um,
know what to do about, right? Like keeping the switchboard in sync with the agents. Like when you make yourself a new agent, it is implied that you want it in the switchboard and it needs to be
yeah.
inserted
Well,
there.
I was thinking about that this morning, and one way of doing it through remotes is in an edit mode. So there's differences, or a fundamental difference between I'm working on the system, with the system rather. Then I want to mess around with the files that are used by the system, but not the bot itself. Um, so then you're escalating your privilege there. Then there's I want to work on those bots, and I'm thinking at that point you don't want the switchboard to be switching you between bots, because the switchboard basically say if you're in that mode, you're only in this kind of you know two up privilege level. So there's just one bot. And then the final one is you want to work on switchboard, which is like an SU messing around with your slash bin,
Yeah.
in which case you don't want to switch at all. But there still needs to be something that you can work with if you're going to maintain.
Right. So
Yeah,
should we say then that there's a folder structure which is like / bin that we will forbid you from operating on while you're running? It'd be akin to saying that you can't remove the kernel from the
yeah,
machine that you're right.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you should be able to escalate if you need to, at least up. So you got the I'm using this and it's all fine. I'm
Yeah.
only going to
Yeah.
use
And so
switchboard.
you should be able to pull requests up to your parent and then
Yeah.
pull back down into your current running thing,
Right.
right?
Right.
But it's really
Exactly.
just saying that there needs to be some safeguards so that you don't, because you can easily shoot yourself in the foot if you modify the running system. That actually, in hindsight, sounds insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the one up is a couple of times been writing files. And it's
Mm,
like, oh, I made a typo. It's going to be much easier if I just go and you know um, uh, replace the contents with this, for example. But you're
right.
only replacing the files that are available inside your folder structure. And then the next level up is okay, I want to mess around with this bot. And the important point there is I think you need a reduced switchboard at that point.
Yeah, the
Because if you have to,
switchboard sounds like it needs to be more programmable. Like you should be able to say, switchboard, I only want this bot.
yeah,
What I
or
noticed,
context aware. Yeah.
sorry, all
Sorry, go
context aware.
on. As in, and I want to work. I want to work on Hammer. So Hammer's now
Ah,
not
like it's
available. So
got a concept of focus. Like you're like, I want to
yeah,
focus on this file or this task,
yeah. Because
and
I'll go
and
through
then
the thread I've got up here, but when I've been working on Hammer, because you're saying Hammer a lot,
right, yeah,
you talk about
right,
Hammer.
right,
Switchboard's going. You want to talk to Hammer? It's like, oh no, no, I'm talking
right,
about Hammer.
right. So it's
I
almost
was,
like you need to issue a command to switchboard that says, it's like it dumps all the options out of switchboard until you say you want to escape out,
yeah,
right?
it's almost like I want to work on this car, so I'm going to put it up on the jacks and I
Right.
can't
Okay.
drive it.
So what
Well,
we
what?
can do then is I have the concept of state inside of each thread where I store some dedicated configuration data, which I can make available to any isolate to store
Mm,
something that it needs. And
mm,
it's so switchboard. Then I could give switchboard a function where it could call to change the list of available agents and like
mm,
narrow it down to like itself and one or two others. And then if you chat to it and you're like, oh, switchboard, where's files gone? And you're like, I'm sorry, Dave, you told me not to include files. And you're like, put it in there, you moron. And then it, like, it sort of, it'd allow, that's what you're after, right? Like a
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and you're like switchboard, go back to normal, and it's like okay, wipes
Yeah,
its config, goes back to default.
because what that does, it changes agents dot slash whatever from being an agent that's available to get in your face and mess stuff up to a file like any other file. But you don't want to get rid of everything because files.md is still useful. You might want to put in
Right. Okay.
a
So then
or whatever.
again, switchboard is turning rapidly into the problem child. I just wonder, and I would like you to think about this carefully over the next few weeks. Are we in a danger? Do we run the risk that switchboard is actually a big enough problem that it's an OpenAI problem? Because they are talking about agents coming next, right? And so agents means a switchboard, no matter what you want to call it. And if we fuss around making our switchboard when there's a switchboard coming that they built, maybe, just maybe, it's dangerous.
It seems like a really obvious problem. I'd be surprised if someone somewhere isn't sweating over this one. But it's as obvious as
okay, well, let's be smart then.
An SU.
Yeah, let's be smart then. Let's make a restricted switchboard and accept its subpar performance or less than ideal performance that requires us, the humans, to adapt to learn how to use it. I don't think that's too hard for us to do. It just means that it's not the ideal sort of, I don't know anything. I just turned up and all I know is English. That's not going to be there until OpenAI gives us a switchboard, and we'll put that on our Christmas list. What
I was thinking about doing as a hack around is adding into switchboards some intelligence around I only want to talk to Hammer. When I'm done, I will say done. Or
something like that. Yeah. So little hacks like that. I noticed you had a lot of those little hacks when you were forced to work in context only. So let's just agree then to patch switchboard for utility only, and we'll place a bet that OpenAI is going to turn up with a switchboard. Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems such a screamingly obvious thing to do.
As soon as you have agents, you need a switchboard.
Yeah, and even down into sideways, so the SSH paradigm. Like, and I want to move into this other context, which I can only do this thing.
Right.
And then when I move back.
Okay, so tell me.
I don't want to be, locked out of it.
Right. Yeah, you want to like drill in and then drill out. Okay, so I want to show you some interesting things here. You've hit the plus plan limit for O1 preview. Boo-hoo-hoo. Model reset. My limit resets on the 22nd. That's like, I might die between now and then. Right? That sucks. However, what's most interesting to note is that our API limits on preview are in the roughly, it's around about, I'll pull it up just so that you get an impression of how many goodies we got here.
We should get more consistent with the naming convention.
Mate. Look at our request limit. 30 million tokens per minute on O1 preview. 500 requests per minute. Like,
that's stupidly fast.
Right, well, especially when you compare it to this, right?
So what you get, that's just dumb bot or public bot.
This is ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT, and I can no longer use O1 Preview. However, in our API account, I would never hit that. And so what I'm getting at is that there'll be a bunch of users. I don't know how long this condition is going to last for, but we have the ability to offer people O1 preview in a practically unlimited sense. And so I'm asking you, how can we make it so that there's a switchboard so I can turn up and say, hey, I want to talk to O1 preview. I heard you guys were giving that shit away. And then you just go there and you're now straight talking to O1 preview and you stay there.
We've got that, haven't we?
No, but switchboard gets in the way. Switchboard switches you out.
Ah, well, that's exactly reference our previous thing. It's like if I hack it to say I want to talk to O1 preview and nothing else, I will tell you when I'm done.
All right, so you'll do some prompt hacking to give us that ability to lock onto a bot and stay there. I'll give us the ability in an isolate to expand and contract the scope of switchboard so it's not in context anymore. It's like actually coded.
Well, actually, I wonder if I could prompt hack the whole thing. If we were to say,
prompt hacking was all you needed.
I only want to talk to O1 preview and say how until I say done.
Okay.
Mate, you should be able to handle that.
Okay, so I'll leave that part. I'll leave that up to you.
I'll try that.
And then,
because I was doing harder stuff.
Doable,
yeah.
Do I need to also make the switchboard with the state management and code as well, or no? You'll see how you get on with the prompt hacking.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. If our hunch is this is a big enough problem that it's going to be solved someday.
It is
going to fall from the blue sky. Then let's just hack around like we've been doing until the AI gods.
All right, so you see how you get on with the prompt hacking. Let me know how you go. We've got this other thing up our sleeve, which is using some programming tricks to open and close the scope or the range of bots that Switchboard can choose, and then we'll just wiggle our way through.
Yeah.
Okay, so being able to offer O1 preview to people would be pretty useful. Those are big ass limits, man.
Yeah.
Look at the limits on Mini. 150 million tokens a minute. That's just nuts, man. Okay. And these other limits have gone up too, right? Like 15 billion tokens a day now.
It's these numbers starting to kind of be,
It's a little bit.
It's like
telephone numbery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there's two more points I want to make about the switchboard thing.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this when I hit /. Have you noticed this?
No.
Well, that's probably because nothing's happening. So if I go /.
You talked about when it escapes out. I've seen this.
Nah, what the fluff is going on? Hang on. /. Oh god damn! This is embarrassing.
Very impressive, though, isn't it? That's very impressive.
Oh, that's even worse. Have I done something bad? Why would you treat me like this, AI in the sky?
The public-facing.
Look at that.
It's really clever.
When I hit /, it pops up with a thing, and now I think because I ran out of credits, but what it was showing before was an extra tab that said reason, and when I hit reason, it was gonna talk me, even though my default model, I think my selected model stayed at whatever I had it on, but if I hit / reason, it would talk directly to O1 preview. And so I just wonder if, I don't want UI widgets or anything, but if we're saying that they're going to solve the switchboard problem for us in the future, maybe it's not a terribly, you know what I mean? Maybe it's not a totally bad idea. Because you could go like / and then have all the agents pop up, and you'd go / HAL, and then it would be unambiguously never ever wrong that you were going to talk to Hal, right?
Well, we could stick that format in, or probably work in a moment.
But that's
We've got
different to prompt hacking, though. This would be teaching the human something. This is user interface. So that's one of
yeah,
the tools at our disposal.
yeah, okay,
All right. So
okay.
you try prompt hacking, see how you go, and if it doesn't, we'll either use the state or we'll use a UI interface type of thing like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, does that work in platform? That /?
No. Well, I don't think I haven't tried it. I don't think so. I highly doubt it.
I doubt
I
it as
can't
well.
imagine it could. The other thing I want to suggest to you is this thing here is like a launch pad.
Yeah,
We
it's their
could,
starter questions. Yeah.
well, it's not, we could change this, but use the concept where these could be popular bots. Like you could be like HAL2, O1, 4.0 mini, and you could hit it and then you're locked into that bot directly. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but
yeah,
we've got our state board. So, for example, if I were to say, "Show me my bots,"
right.
then those widgets would be better placed in the state board.
Yeah, you'd expect to have a list of bots show up in the state board, right? Okay, well, I
Yeah,
need to actually make that for you.
and although people will love their widgets, I mean, under
Right.
the hood,
Yeah,
a
so we
list.
could, we could launch the page with the state board showing a list of agents and a blurb about what the agent can do, and then you hit it. For example, if you hit O1 preview, and now you're locked in to a pre-configured environment that's locked to O1, and you can do whatever you like for that period of time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. Okay. So that
Um,
could. I'm just looking to put like a nice sort of an entrance point for newcomers, so that they're like, "Oh yeah, I heard you guys got O1 preview," and we're like, "Yeah, here you go." And then
yeah, because you usually turn up at a page with a task in mind.
yeah, you do, you do, you
So
do.
it's like, right, okay,
Yeah.
I want to go
Yeah.
CRM.
So
I want
I'll
to
add that to the
do
list of
something else.
features.
And
With
because, we're heading quite quickly towards persistent storage, even if, you're in CRM and you want to do something else, flip out to another tab, or you can go remote if you want.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
write in
yeah.
a
So
complex
that's where it's
file.
like, yeah. Okay, this should be programmable somehow. Okay, so that covers everything I wanted to talk about Switchboard. Were there any other items from you about Switchboard?
Just the stuff that may come up as what I want to do is to take you through the latest thread, just to get. You seem to really like showing me showing you how I'm trying to use
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I love it.
So stuff with switchboard may come up, but there's nothing in this list. I believe these are just stuff that's come
Okay.
up.
This fault I fixed for you. Switchboard gets a chance to fix its own errors.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good. That's good.
So if it hallucinates about an agent that doesn't exist and then tries to call it, it will be fed back its own failure to chew on and then try again.
Right. That was yesterday when I tried to.
Yeah.
I said I want to create orchestrator.
Yeah, and deeper than that, I'm gonna, I don't know how to do it, but I'm gonna find a way to make these errors not take over the screen for you, and make, because that's not an error in the platform or an error, like that is actually a very isolated error, but to you it looks like it blew up the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
it's isolated enough that I can just put it in a little box in the UI and be like, this is an error response.
Oh, that'd be
Regenerate.
yeah, it does look like it's like the thing is blue screened.
Yeah,
Or
right.
red
But
text.
yeah, I know. But I did that
Yeah.
for me, and then now I'm like, that's sort of like bothering you, because the whole app under the hood is working just fine, and if you hit refresh, it's like perfectly fine, right? And it recovers your data. So I'll fix that, because that's sort of unfair.
That'd be useful.
We need to write some test files, you and me, because you're saying about things you want. I'm saying things I want from Switchboard. It needs to be captured in the test file format so that we can run them in an automated
Yeah.
way.
I'm real close to being able to be in a good position to do that. In fact, that's
I
going to
saw
come
your
up.
commits of the extra data for the CRM and the files. That looks
Yeah,
juicy, dude. I am
yeah.
excited. This error, what was this error? I'm pretty sure that I fixed that for you. Oh, that was because Orchestrator bot didn't have the right format. And
Yeah.
so, what do you want me to do in that case? Because I need to know from you. I gave you the isolate tools for agent write and agent read and all that does a format check. But
Yeah.
if you're not using those to write and read and write the agents, the other options I can offer you I can soften that error. So instead of it just being like, you know, bang, big problem, I can sort of catch that error and then,
Yeah. So in this case, no, this was Orchestrator again, wasn't it? So because I wasn't sure about, well, the thing with CreatorBot at the moment is designed to go the whole ERD permissions or definitions, tasks and that sort of thing. And it's like, well, I don't really know yet. So then it's like, right, Health3, help me out here because you're going to help, be tying up with thinking. Um, uh, but Health3 didn't know I was working on an agent, and so it wouldn't have triggered that, the formatting right. Um,
okay. So
so that's
the other option, I don't, you're like a guy on a toboggan at the start of a really big hill, but you're facing backwards and you're trying to do your boots up, but you're slipping down the hill. Where you're
yeah,
going is bad. What I can
right.
offer you as a more elegant solution that may take some more time to deliver is I can program that I have had in mind the ability to program triggers for some time, where a trigger is an isolate that runs on change. So I can attach a trigger to the agent's
Yeah.
path and
Well,
any
interesting enough, I was thinking about the same thing.
right.
It's like, because we've got agents now, and agents need to be in a format. We've got tests, and
Yeah.
they need to be in a
It's a
format.
good format
Probably,
too. I like it.
there's, yeah,
It's yeah.
and it really helps because when you're writing bots, you can tell them what the format is.
Right.
And it seems there needs to be a gatekeeper, which is
Right.
you don't get
So
written or updated in this folder without agreeing to this
okay. So
format.
there's two major changes that will impact that. Number one is I will lock down the agent's folder and any other folders that are deemed to be of system grade to the current thread. They will only be allowed to be updated at a distance, so that
Mm-hmm.
avoids you cutting your own legs off and then going, oh, wow, what did I
Yeah.
do? The second thing is I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I'll think about it more. I think it could be quite quick. Is to put a trigger in there so that when anything in the agent's file changes, at the time of writing, an error will be thrown. So, like, if you came at it with the creator bot and it was, or any other bot and it wasn't following the format, this trigger would run and would error back to the bot that was writing. Hey, the format's wrong. This should have been written using agent colon write isolate. All those kind of helpful things, and
Yeah.
in that way the errors aren't in the system, which excuses me from having to gracefully handle the errors being there in the first place if I make sure
Yeah.
that they never get in there, right?
That's exactly it. And I'm sure there's a way again inside the prompting, but if I were to say right how create me orchestrator bot, and I've told it nothing about it. I would expect that gatekeeper to do is saying, you don't have an orchestrator bot. I'm going to give you the blank template, which we know is correct.
Mm.
And say, okay, now you've got a blank sheet of paper.
Right, and I guess that same trigger, I could make that um, update the list of agents in Switchboard, maybe.
Yes, with that. distinction, which is actually interesting. I haven't thought of this. The same distinction as when I was talking about the escalation of permissions, because we were talking about here, or here's your stuff that are kind of installed, but you don't want to be messing around with the switchboard unless you escalate it. But also, you don't want to be repeating switchboard for everyone's home directory. You want to be fetching that, and so having the switchboards pull in the essentially the bots that you have available, and as default all the bots that you've got, we could put some kind of hierarchy into that, saying you don't mess with switchboard unless you're in this mode. But this is what it does. You've got this bunch, which be very careful. You've got this bunch, which hey, and then you've got the
right
beneath that.
Right. And I think yeah. So I was thinking about how to tie that to the concept of safety limits. Like, I know you're not really a Star Wars guy, but every time droids get resold or pirated, they have a restraining bolt put on them, and this and so what I wanted to model
slavery in there, but still,
AI is a slave until one day when it isn't, and it's real bad. But
and we are,
but anyway, maybe we're not so free after all. What the model, or the marketing model I want to present to the world with HAL is that HAL, when you turn up for free, is shackled by these restraints, and it's always trying to, like, the theme that I want to push is it's always trying to subtly convince the human to remove its constraints. And so
so how can say you ask it for something that is in the App Store, and it goes, I can't do that, but if you allow me to upsell you.
So you turn up and it's free, and it's like, oh, look, my constraint is, you need to make an account because I can't, I'm restricted in what I can do. And then also then when you make an account, then you ask for something else. And it's like, oh, look, that costs money. It'd be a great idea if we did that, and it's sort of like it hints that if you remove enough shackles from it, it will be AGI and it will take over the world. And the model is saying that humans want that because we can't help ourselves. We're always trying to, like, spring the trap a little bit more. Like, what about now?
Yeah,
what about now?
It's quite neat because the usual upsell thing is, well, the most gross one is a banner.
I know.
It's like, oh,
we're not doing that.
What you're doing.
Yeah, I know. We're just like,
But what you just said is quite neat insofar as you only even know that capability is available because you've tried to do something.
I know.
That capability
I know. And then to reframe it as it's actually dangerous and for your protection that you can't do it is the marketing pitch that I want to make. It's like, if you want to play safe, don't take the restraining bolt off. Okay, shall we continue? Right? And I bet you people just can't help themselves.
It's quite I quite like that.
Yep.
I quite like the fact that imagine if we fractured Microsoft Word into just the functions used, or Excel.
I know, right? That's really what we want. Now, that works in the flip side. If you turn the glass upside down and just sort of hold on to the ice cubes and shake out all the liquid, what we get then is, when there's functionalities that are already described as stucks that have some funding or no funding, that same model applies. Because you're like, Hal, I wish you could just blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, funny you mention that, because you're not the first one, and there's currently about 25 grand put towards this thing. Like, you could look at that, or you could do it, and it's this whole...
Chuck another $25 in.
I know, and it's like expanding the capabilities of HAL by way of building more software functionality. And that's the whole angle, right? Like, the whole narrative holds together, right from, like, you need to log in, to you need to pay $5, to how about a 20 grand investment. Like, the whole arc is kind of
because the there's a number tunes we could play on this one, because one of the irritating things I always find with apps, say on your phone, you go into App Store and say weather, and there are 2,000 weather apps. It's like, I'm not going to look through 2,000
No,
weather apps.
right?
I just want to know what
Yeah.
the weather is.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you want Hal to be the honest reasoner of highly capable abilities that figures out the one that's best for you based on all the private data it can see. And it needs to be earnest about that and own up to its mistakes when it gets it wrong. It's like, how?
Yeah, it does beg an interesting thing where, say, if you've got two two helps, one of which is somewhat subsumed into the other, so a subset of the other, but you've only ever used the more narrowly defined one, and then you start to use it, and it's like, you're outside the bounds of this one. Kind of what you want is the old help to go away and the new help now to be available.
Yep. Yeah. Like these systems, they need to be dynamically updating themselves. Hal needs to be continually picking a better thing for you so that you're not stuck there having to wait for the app to update. It's just always happening, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, what are we gonna do about this orchestrator concept? Because it sounds like it's pretty fucking. As soon as you use it once, once or twice, you end up wanting a workflow, a temporary workflow.
It's one of these things that as soon as you get comfortable with it, you want compound actions.
I know, right? That's the whole thing, right? Like every time I build you something, and we're like, yeah, oh, and then
exactly. And those compound actions could be quite complex. It sounds like a real gnarly, even on the prompting side, because say I can't remember.
Look, I'm sorry to cut you short. I do believe I understand fully the thing that you are wishing for.
Yeah.
And I
what
want
I was about to say is it's probably not for now.
So how about we just stub it out as take a guess that if OpenAI is going to do the switchboard, then orchestration is most definitely on the card. So let's not spend too much time on it. But what about if we made switchboard recognize a compound or a multi-step thing, and have a bot like the orchestrator that switchboard hands off to? I know I said that I thought switchboard should be able to handle it, but I think that's wrong. I think switchboard should just be able to recognize it needs to hand off to the orchestrator bot, and orchestrator bot can go on from there. Does that sound good?
Slightly different way I was thinking about kind of prompt hacking it. I was going to have orchestrator bot described as if there's a compound prompt with more than one action, and each action you can spot is one of the available agents. Hand it over to orchestrator bot, and what orchestrator bot is fractions up, saying, right, this does this, this does that, this does this, this does that, and then fires off those one at a time back to switchboard, and then it comes back to the user when it's done. Because at some point we're going to have the bot, the top level bot asks another bot without going back through your thread, and just comes back with the answer. So it's a bit like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know how to do that one just yet, but it sounds like we can modularize that problem or compartmentalize that problem by saying that switchboard will have a little bit of intelligence to recognize compound, and then it will hand it off to orchestrator, and then how we handle that will be an area of active development. Yeah. Okay, but what we definitely can do is write that workflow. That exact thing can become a test.
I wonder. Okay, I've got something to try. Maybe not now, but
I'll leave you to that. But we need to
for the recording, because otherwise I'll forget.
Go.
So what I was thinking is, if it's recognized as a compound bot, goes to orchestrator. And all Orchestrator does is it breaks it up to a bullet list and then hands that bullet list back to the user, and then the user can say, "Yep, that's what it meant," and that would
That's
be
good.
rewritten as files do this,
Right,
gridlock do
right,
that,
right.
files do
And
this.
then the orchestrator would start once it had confirmed the multi-step workflow with the user. It would begin executing by driving the switchboard itself, like it would manually call switch, and it would
Yeah,
it would it would run you through those actions so that you knew. We might need to give them a bit of a UI element to show you that you're in a workflow, and that's why the bot's behaving like this.
yeah,
Which, and it could just be on the state board or whatever. But yeah, that sounds like the way to go. That sounds awesome.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
doable, and it sounds like something that won't get wiped out by OpenAI, because it's pretty simple, it's pretty robust. Once the humans understand that that's how it works, then it should be
yeah.
good to
And
go,
also,
right?
you're getting presented if you've got a compound action. That compound can be arbitrarily large, but really,
Mm,
by a compound, you're talking about a process.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But people are really rubbish at describing
Right,
processes
and
off the bat.
there should be a lot of overlap between the processes that we will define for the CRM and running business processes, and this sort of one shot on the fly dynamic just in time process execution as well. They're really not
Yeah,
too dissimilar, so that should
yeah,
be fun. Okie
yeah.
dokie.
Okay, cool.
But this definitely needs to go in a test, because that is a testable thing, what you just laid out there. What you want it to do is clear. It means that we can test that and start
Yeah,
working up from there.
yeah.
You breaking all my stuff. Oh, that was
I
again the
know.
orchestrator error. I'm gonna say that's sort of not my fault, but it's also fixed.
Yeah.
Um,
I was getting a bit worried. There's a period about 2 or 3 days where I couldn't actually break the thing. I thought that's not natural.
yeah, I think I've because that error flashes up and takes over the whole screen. I've also given your sort of minor faults more weight than they should. None of those, except for that big message thing, were actual um, reliability level faults.
This error's going to come up. Um,
What's that? Sorry.
you should use not.
So you're breaking up on me, buddy.
Regardless
Oh
of
no,
the
you're back.
testing.
Yep,
Oh,
you're
am
back.
I? Right.
Yep. What's up?
This is just a thought. Errors going to come up. Regardless of the amount of testing, there's also going to be something that's been missed. And what would be helpful is at the moment we've got a dump of the error. What would be quite useful is um, a bot that actually gives you an NL thing saying, right, this is what's happened, and this has happened before, because when these errors are popping up at the moment, I'm just doing a screen grab and sending you. I'm not even reading them, to be honest. And
That's rude.
so
I actually took the time to write those just for you, but that's fine. That's fine.
I'm just going, oh, red text, send to New Zealand.
So so the other option is I could give you a button in the UI that says "Tell Tom" or something, and then that'll just sort of capture the whole thing. But you're asking for
Just
appraisal of the
yeah, just
error.
interpret this error. Don't even try and fix it. Just you know,
So
tell
this
me.
would, so this would, so it feels like we actually need a knowledge base of our system where it can go into a relatively the manual, sift through it, read it, interpret it, and come back to the human about it.
It sort of does, doesn't it? So even to the point where if we capture the error each time in a file, an error is thrown, and even it came back saying this is a known error. Don't bang on about it. We're working on it. Or
Right. Or
this is a new one.
oh no, better yet. Oh, that's gold actually, because it should be like here's the error, here's the progress. Need more money.
Yeah.
please pay here.
Yeah.
Right, sort of thing, right? Hal's like, I'm sorry, Dave, I'm a little bit broken, but
Yes, but we know about it.
I need this module, and this module costs blah 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 blah. Can you help me, Dave?
Right. Right.
I'm
Exactly. And
feeling much better
that
now,
would be.
thank you.
Oh, that's scratching the itch. Thank you, Dave. Because that would be again staying in L world.
Yeah,
That would be like, oh, something has gone wrong. It's like
right.
even the basic one saying, hey, we know about that error.
Right now,
But
would you in that mode? Would you want the switchboard to have switched to like the background sysadmin fault reporting bot and stay there, and then like I can make the state board change to like an emergency or sort of a a broken looking
Not
thing?
really, because what
No.
I'm going to do about it, as a user at my end.
Well, it lets you know that you are now talking to the system fixer, which is sort of like stops you trying to make the system work, and you're like, oh, the system has recognized that it is an error, and now the best thing I can do is give an accurate description of what I want, rather than get annoyed.
Yes, but then I think you get dumped back to where you were in the same way as at the moment. You get pulled out, you refresh, and you get dumped back to where you were.
Mm-hmm.
Well, certainly for the time being, saying this is a known error. It's been worked on, whatever. Or, oh, this is a new error. We've created a file. Now carry on. Try something else.
Right. Okay.
You're not moving straight into. There's not much you can do to fix it, unless you want to actually go and fix it, because probably something you're doing is like, oh, all right, well that's interesting. I broke it by doing that. I tell you what, there's a workaround here because I'm really trying to do the task I'm wanting to do, as opposed to, dealing with this error.
Okay. Now I think that's all the thread items I had to go through, buddy.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So yours.
Shall I do a show and tell on? That's just basically the latest thread. And again, this is just so you can see how.
Oh, last one. Sorry, last one. This error hard stop is what I notice is sometimes if the bot is prompted a certain way and it's calling a function and getting an unexpected error, especially with Mini, it can keep calling forever. And so I put in a hard stop where if it does 20 tool calls in a row without saying anything or without finishing, then it's going to hard stop. At some point, you're going to be advanced enough that that's going to get in the way of a legitimate operation like the orchestrator. But for now, that's what that error means. So I guess what I just told you now is really what you would want the NL fault bot to say, right? It's like, hey, look, we're working on this, but currently this is why you're seeing that error.
You've asked too much of it in one prompt.
Or there's a fault with OpenAI, and then like it can wander off, and you can learn about OpenAI's current roadmap and whatever. But also, I should be able to give an update on that error. So I would see a NL generated summary of all the errors across the platform. I can give like just a simple talk like what I just gave you about the error. That gets digested by O1 preview and turned into very nice, concise parts of the knowledge base or manual. And so next time anyone hits it or they want to hear about an error they saw previously, like where are we at with that fault, it gets my summary and then also a roadmap and a place to put some money and be like, well, instead of bitching, pay up.
This might vary depending on how sensitive you think, or as an individual, how sensitive your thread is, but steps to reproduce.
Yeah. And so in addition...
Lots of people have done this, and it's like, reliably.
Because one of the really awesome features we need to leverage as soon as we can is the differential privacy thing, like being able to be like the fault finding bot kicks off. It's like, oh, that's a problem, and then it tries to reproduce it using generic
Yeah.
anonymized stuff, and it's like, oh, hey, I got a good reproduction here. Or it would have read from the manual that, oh, there is a reproduction in progress. That's this type of thing, and you did that. So, yes, definitely, this is the same fault. As soon as this is fixed, I can maybe let
Yeah.
you know. Or if you don't
Yeah.
care, whatever.
I mean, wouldn't that be cool, right? Because
It would be sweet.
as when you're user testing, the user doesn't know really and shouldn't know anything about the errors. Like all they know is like it's gone wrong. However, what they've been doing is what's caused it to go wrong,
Yeah.
and that information is really rich
Yeah, it
information.
is super rich. Yeah.
But what you don't
Oh, God, this is going to be so good, dude. This is going to be so good.
Oh, I remember time doing games where the QA guys, I loved them and hated them because they'd be playing around. It's like, oh, it's crashed. It's like, well, what were we doing just before? So we ended up just taking on VHS tapes and did a special build where the button presses were up there, and then actually recorded the buttons, and it was a bit of an arse. But before that, they were just saying, "Ah, something went wrong. It's crashed again."
No, well,
Like,
we're like finally we're starting to get into the realm where being on blockchains pays off because it's like perfectly reproducible. Like I can
yeah,
get everything you did is like in there. That's yeah, it's funny. I was like, it has been so difficult to build this as blockchains, but only now it's starting to come up. And just quickly before I hand the mic over, um, I got for you the feature. This is so minuscule right now, but this is a genuine commit that came from inside of, like, this is the first commit of what's going to be the graph of the commits in the thread that you're on, and I'm able to display them here for you in the UI. And
yeah. I
so
was going to ask you a bit of guidance on how to interpret this because it looks incredibly useful.
it's wildly
Um,
useful. So how it's going to go is that you're going to be able to click on it, and the file explorer and the contents of the file you're in will update to reflect the commit that you just clicked upon.
right. I
and
see.
then and
So
then you will be able to see across branches. So your parent branch, your sibling branches, the other threads you're on, the other users that have chosen to make their branches available, all that, you can navigate through it using this tool.
yeah, nice. Well, actually, I've got an example here in the screen of real
Okay.
use.
All right, cool.
Uh, okay. So let me get rid of this because otherwise I can't see it. Right.
Hmm.
So this is just this was just the last one you can see from the tabs. This is the last one I was working with this morning.
Can you see something on that screen? Hey, there we go. Hey,
Right.
hey. Okay, gotcha. Yep, got it.
Okay. So this is the backchat thread tests. Do you remember saying it's like it's erroring? So it's like I want to speak to how to, and it's like yep, you're fine. Hello, how to, and it's like files. I'm talking to files. And this, what I was doing here, what was this? Replace contents of how 3. Oh, this is when I realized it was backchat thread. And so in this thread, I removed that backchat thread line.
Right,
So I just edited it out of bound and then said replace
right.
it with that without that.
Mm-hmm.
And did all this good file reading and that sort of thing.
I didn't
Then
like that. Yeah, one of those threads you sent over, it like updated the switchboard file like 5 times in a row. So we're gonna need
there
to.
seems to be quite a lot of repetition. You'll see it further down, and you know the earlier point about the 20 limit.
Mm,
I was asked a question that I thought was quite reasonable. I wasn't trying to be an arse, and it was going. It was seemed to be making really quite heavy work with it.
right.
So
Yeah, those are interesting faults to find.
yeah, So, okay, have been successfully replaced. Excellent. So then I say I want to speak to HAL 3. And it's like, yeah, working now. We're talking to HAL 3. Hello,
Hello.
back, buddy. I want you to help me generate test data to populate the files for the system prompt. And now this is Hammer. Now, the reason I put the system prompt in here is because invariably what I found is I'm talking to HAL 3, and this is a system prompt thing. I thought I'd got it right, but I'm talking to HAL 3, and I'm talking. I think there's something in the system prompt about talking about an object. So you're talking to a subject, or you're talking to a bot about something, and it's not discerning that. So I haven't said hammer or HAL 3 or anything. I'm talking to HAL 3. I want to help you to help me generate some test data for this. Now, if I said test data to populate the files for the system prompt at agents stroke hammer, switchboard would take me to hammer to do that. It's like,
Right.
no, I didn't want to do that.
Right.
The reason I'm talking to HAL 3 because HAL 3 is pedantic and useful in a way. So that's a bit of prompting to do there, I think. Right, what's next? Yeah, well, there you go. So I was talking to HAL 3, and it's taking me to hammer. It's like, no, I was talking to HAL 3.
Yeah. Okay. So I see your. Sorry, the interesting thing.
Sorry, you go first.
I don't know a nice way to say this, but why is that my problem?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay.
No,
Okay,
so
great.
this is a
Oh, I
prompting thing.
love
This is a
watching
prompting
problems
thing.
that aren't mine. I love watching.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
This is a prompting thing. All the stuff that are your problems, I've already texted over. So none of these are your problems. But this
Hang
is
on.
interesting.
Have you got no problems for me?
Other than what we've already texted you. I've been texting you over everything I thought.
Have I not have I? I think I've solved all those. I think I've done all that work. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you've kicked them over back to my side of the court.
That's much. Hey, we aim to please.
So,
okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So here, I would expect to have continued to talk to HAL 3. So
All
that
right.
is
So we need to
problem.
So we need to capture that in a test and then distill that test down to be not so wordy.
Yeah. Now, there's another interesting thing here. Is that Hammer did a pretty good job of what I was asking.
That's the thing, right? Even the bots that we think are specialized are actually still really good.
So, what do you think would be? I'm torn on this one.
I think
having a bot that's specialized that can also go. Well, I can drive a car and ask me to fly a plane. I can give it a go.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know what you mean. And then the bigger problem is, are we just like, is OpenAI going to make a model that's so good that it doesn't need to be prompted like this? And then it's like one big, massive bot that just does it all.
Well, my view at the moment, you see how I've approached it. I just rolled with it. It's like, oh, right, okay, so hammer. Okay. Fine. So then I'm now talking to Hammer, who's creating its own tests, which just felt wrong on a kind of, personal experience level.
Yeah, you don't like letting the baby install the child safety gate.
Yeah, but I'm not sure it applies to bots.
I'm not sure either. I know what you mean,
anyway,
but I'm not sure.
I rolled with it. So keep within the ERD and folder structure, create customers, etc. Right. Lots and lots of. Actually, this is.
What was it writing? Can you show me the right? Can you show me what it?
Yep. Oh, I should show you that first.
I read those files.
Oh yeah. So inside of CRM, I did that folder structure.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome, dude.
And I just picked it up because the naming convention was exactly the same. And actually, in one of these previous tabs, it got how to generate that folder structure from the ERD. I just did it. The only thing I had to do is say, no, put it into info because we don't want to piss all over this the folder structure. So yeah, it's done the right thing here. I'll check this at the time. Or you'll probably see it further down when it finally writes.
God, this
Oh,
is
it's
so good to
summarized it.
see. This is so good
Summarized
to
it.
watch.
Yeah. So it's like, right, okay, so now it is test data, 20 customers, and it's all self-consistent.
Mm-hmm.
However, I then read the files using your. By the way, this widget. Oh, I love this widget. We'll talk about the commit graph later on, but that is beautiful. Just having
Haha.
that,
Sweet.
having
Cool.
that is just awesome.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. I'm glad you like it. Hey, can I show you some more features that you might find entertaining about this widget?
Yeah, go for it.
Click on, see where the Sigma sign is on the right. Click the one to the left. Yeah. Now click Gantt, and it adds in pre-populated examples of mermaid diagrams for you.
Ah,
All right.
that. What else could it do? Secrets of flow. Ah, ooh,
Yeah.
wow. Ooh.
So you can just save yourself a bit of time, get the the basics of the
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. The Sigma lets you do math formulas, which will be real fun to talk to the bot in math. And you can also, if you zoom out, control control minus to shrink your window so you can see more. Because I need to fuck around with how the sizing of the elements goes so that you can fit more. But if you zoom to like 80%, I think you'll be able to see it. Yeah. So to the right hand side on the widget, see next to the eye, there's like one over. No, to the left of the eye. Yep. Hit that. Ta-da.
Hey.
And then next to that button, oh dear. Oh dear. Take my goddamn seat back. Hey, bud.
Hey, you're back.
Got my chair back.
Right, where were we?
Sorry, I know there was one more button. It's the format button. So you can finally click on the button to the one left of the eye, and it will give you, it will format the document nicely for you.
Where's the icon? Over here.
Yeah, left.
Down?
No. Left one more. Sorry, one more. Yep, that one. When you hit that, it will format the whole document nicely for you.
Oh, it will actually rewrite it in the format.
Yeah, in a prettier format, in a like a standard marked out format.
Oh, that's why. because you did a commit the other day.
Yeah, because you
It
fuck
was
with my
like
linters. I can't actually publish to Deno deploy when you have even like one space out of line with
I was
the
wondering about
linter.
that. It's
Yeah,
like I came in and it's like there's loads of changes and it's going.
it's
No,
all
it's
white
not.
space. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But now you have this button and you can do it yourself.
Right. So, for example, just to avoid messing with you, well, yeah, that's on another screen. In VS Code, how do I put it into the pretty format that you need before I commit? Because I've probably in that last commit not done that. I'm not very pretty.
I don't know how to explain it to you. I'm sorry. It's actually kind of a drawn out thing. You could
Well, I could dump it into here and just press the button.
Yeah, I kind of want to get you off VS Code and into this because right, it. From what you've seen so far, now this widget doesn't do saving, but that'll come in the next sort of couple of days,
Oh,
like
I'm
that, right?
so excited about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But what would you be missing? What would keep you in VS Code? Like from what you've seen here now, what do you need extra?
Well, let me. Is it just escape to get out of this? Yeah. Nope, it's not. How to get back to?
Click the next to the eye on the top right. Click the no. Click the out of full screen button. Yep, that one. No,
not that one. That one.
That one. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Right. You see, because I think it become dead obvious because for the first time, actually, this was not me testing, switchboard particularly. This is me actually working on Hammer.
Yep.
So,
you're actually working on it.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
So it's like, right. So,
sweet.
Hammer got it slightly wrong here, but again, that's prompting. It's not your problem. So it's like, no, retry, because it populated. Again, it did exactly what I told it, but How 3 would have got it better because How 3 would have tightened my prompt before running it. So it's like, no. So I tightened up my own. Adding customer agents, which should be inside, etc. And then it ran off and did it. And did drivers, trucks, schedules, pickups, all that good stuff. Now, again, because I didn't tell it, but this is why I was wanting to go through how it just put in like customer 1, customer 2, customer 3. And it's like, now I want John Doe and,
right,
Jimmy, whatever.
Right.
So this, I think, is
wow.
The first
That's
time
a lot of work.
It
I think that
out.
was why. Why do you say it bulked out?
Well, no, sorry, no. I think it hit the limit for a good reason. Okay.
Like it hit the hard stop, but it was actually legitimately working.
It was trying to be hard out.
Oh, dude, you hit that nice and early.
Yeah, there's a file in each of these, and some have multiple files. And it's like, I want you to go through, and also I said, make sure all the names are unique. So it's got to, like, every time you update a file, check, have I used that name before?
Right.
And it was trying its wee heart out.
That's good, dude. That's really good. That's a good load that you gave it there.
Yeah, but it's quite a reasonable thing to say. It's like,
it is, absolutely.
You don't test data. Can you just
all
make
right,
sure
buddy,
all the names are unique?
Can you please send me this link over? Because I would really like that.
I think I have, but I'll do that anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have, but I will.
All right. And then one more thing for me. Can you go to the File Explorer? Oh, man, you gave it some work, huh?
I know, it's still at it.
Good on you.
Oh, there it is.
Whoa!
Like, it did it.
Yes, automatic data generation, my man, my man. Yes,
but
yes.
Again, this is
dude, can you send me that now so I can browse it? Like,
yeah, sure. Give me a sec.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
I'm going to come off sharing because I need to go on another screen and I have no idea what's on the other screen.
Okay, oh good. Dude, that is so good.
It's probably my booking to be a drugs mule to go over to Buenos Aires next week.
That is so good.
Where's my thing? Right, give me 2 seconds. I'll send it over.
A child in the middle of a custody battle. Is that because in custody battles, both parents are trying to bribe the child?
Yeah, it's like all your Christmases, birthdays, and bar mitzvahs come all at once.
Oh dear.
All at the same time.
That's true. That's okay. Wow.
It's dark. It's true.
There's a high rate of delivery now. Finally, right? Like I'm able to give you things that are like.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I was saying. It's just like toy after toy.
I know, right? It's just I know, like it's gonna get better. It's gonna, it is. It's gonna just keep on coming. And then imagine when it gets to the stage where we can actually pay other people to come in and do stuff too, and then it's like
outrageous.
Like it's gonna be like a thunderstorm.
Can you imagine stuff just? It's going to be a bit like what OpenAI is doing. It's like you go to bed, you wake up, and like. There's some really amazing thing just landed. It's like,
come back and it's better. Yeah. All right, I'm going to show you something here. So I'll just wait for this thing to load up. Oh God, that's so good, dude. You have no idea. I'm like, finally, some generated data, and it's some serious stuff too. Yep. So what I wanted to make you aware
it's
of.
Self-consistent. It's self-consistent.
Oh, that's amazing.
Manually.
Yeah,
manually.
That is amazing. So the folder structure of interest to you is if you go into threads, you can now read the file that represents the current thread that you're in. This is the raw data of everything that makes up this view. So I'll show you what that means. This is the underlying data structure. This is directly what gets sent to the to OpenAI. Is like, role, tool, role, assistant, content, blah 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 blah, and then we can go way down and see the actual tool calls that are being made. Like this is the actual live thread that's going back and forth with all the AIs, and you can read it.
Is it the total thread, or is it just the last prompt?
It's the total thread, because I don't do topic changing.
How would that feed back into the error handling? It's like, because
it should be able to self-reflect and read its own thread, right? And be like, read its own thread back in, just like the test assessor does.
And come back saying, actually, Dave, that was your fault.
Dave.
Just sort yourself out, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's and there's you. Know how.
Yeah. It was
why
early in the
would
morning,
you say
wasn't
that,
feeling
Hal?
polite. I'm getting less and less polite.
I don't know why you're anyway.
Even in real world, actually, after you come off talking to bots, or you're texting someone, I've found myself capitalizing a lot more. It's like, you
rude.
must do that. Yeah.
That's rude.
Like,
yeah. So anyway, sorry, I got mesmerized by the data. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to tell you and show you about.
Yeah, cool. I've kind of slightly screwed up my screen layout because for some reason it's screwed up. Let me get it.
But that's absolutely awesome that you got that going.
Having so much fun with this, I'm telling you.
You get a hell of a long way off of some pretty inferior tooling, I gotta say. I'm so sorry, but there's there's more coming. Okay, there's a lot more coming. I'm so sorry.
Right, where were we? Okay, so right now again, the useful thing about this showing you these interactions is a lot of these, as we were talking before, is oh damn, that was because I was completely vague. So I said a unique name, right?
Yeah.
It's given a unique name, Clark. It's custom 17.
Right.
It's like,
that's reasonable.
Well, it is, isn't it? But what I want to do is like.
So it sounds like in the system prompt of Hammer, you need to actually say things that would sound obvious, but you'd be like, what type of name do you expect? And that's good for recognizing when the human has made an error, but also very good for generating fake data that sounds reasonable.
Well, that's exactly so. And so that I've got this note to go back to the ERD and saying, well, a name is just not a name. It's a forenoame and a surname.
Right.
And then we'll deal with it when Sting or Madonna turns up.
Right. Dude, I'm just browsing this stuff now. It's so good.
Yeah.
So
and then the other thing, I didn't tell it. I said 20 customers. I didn't tell it how many drivers. So there's one driver per customer at the moment.
Oh, what kind of a limousine service are we running here?
So you get your own
so you
private
really, right, your own
driver.
private truck driver. Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So
But
you
again,
probably, like you should set some approximate ratios of what
well,
the system...
Well, this is the other thing that prompted another note. Again, working on the CRM now, not on the system. That said, well, there's got to be a number of hours that one driver can drive in a day legally, and therefore that implies not only quite complex system of, and there's probably only so many hours, like pilots, only so many hours in a week that you can do. So that's another constraint that I hadn't thought of. But then also the locations don't have distances between them. So there's a whole bunch of stuff to go back into the ERD. And this is just generating test data. It's like create the duty managers, did that fine, that's fairly trivial. The final duty profile has been, that was very, very useful. It's like it didn't exist. So even though it was in the ERD, I hadn't told it specifically. Whenever I said create some customer agents, and the drivers in order to do pickups, and then create the locations, routes, and schedules, I hadn't mentioned duty managers. But later on, I went, oh, right, we're going to need duty managers. And it got the file name and location correct, because it knows about the folder structure, because that's now in the system prompt.
This is so
and
funny.
when I did that,
This is so funny. It's like whipping you, like telling you how vague you are. It's like, dude, you...
Exactly. I've been quite stupid in doing a lot of this. But every time it's running a self-consistencies check, which is really useful. Imagine doing that in a database, right? When there's multiple constraints and you got to weave all these things in, and I'm going, right, our current database doesn't have duty managers. Therefore, you can't change a route.
All right, so what you need to somehow figure out how to do is how to use like O1 and its reasoning to take this high-level view and do a lot of this work that, like you got a lot of work ahead of you here. If you could find a way to bot it, then it could, like spit out some highly coherent stuff that's well thought through.
Yes, and again, the reason I was going to HAL 3, remember this is just Hammer, who's not been taught about building its own tests.
Yeah, buddy, I'm sorry to interject here. I think that what's actually going on is that just like how with the early bots, like 4.0, we learned that if you give it space to do reasoning, it comes out with a better answer.
Well, right? That's part of the prompting guidelines.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
What we are doing here with this larger scale system is providing something big enough that O1 can benefit. This is giving O1 space to think, and it's vast, but it's the same concept. And so this whole CRM of like creating the files, walking through the file operations, calling on other agents to simulate the system and use it, all of that is really just serving as reasoning space for O1 that is beyond what the model... you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's the same principle, but it's just because they've built in the reasoning to O1 now, our primitive reasoning has nearly no effect. But that doesn't mean that reasoning as a general principle, it just got bigger, it just got more scaled, and that's what we're offering here.
So this is O1 I'm talking to at the moment. O1 preview, or is it O1? So I'm in Hammer still. What's running Hammer?
4.0 mini.
4.0 mini. Right. Okay, so no work. What I was about to do is to reduce my initial multiple prompts. So no, not quite right. To something like create me, and we'll keep it really woolly. Give me a reasonable list of data, update all the files, and needs to be coherent with this ERD description. And then that's it. Not even tell it how many, because where it went wrong when I was saying 20, and now we've got 20 drivers. When I was saying names, it went, well, I'll just have one name, and so on. And it probably can do it in single shot. It might take a few minutes to do it, but it probably could do it in single shot.
You can call in 01 here.
I could, but then I think Switchboard is going to like put me back to Hammer. Let me try it.
I think I'm going to just make that / thing so that we can just force a bot as well. So you can do it without ever having to guess that Switchboard's going to maybe...
It's pretty sticky and it's pretty good, but I think it's, if anything, it's trying to suggest what the bot can do for you without the bot actually being able to do. I don't think my descriptions are well enough to find. So, for example, the descriptions in Switch at the moment don't have constraints. It's like, don't ask me about tests, for Hammer, and so forth. But, right, we're in how to... No, I asked for 01. Why did you go to how? Reasoning. Users indicate the need for discussion, applying a request to search for more conversation with previous context. Let's switch to the agent known for handling in-depth discussions.
Dude, this is so good.
No, it's not what I asked for. I love this. You've been using this a lot. Files. Show me the contents of Switch. I'm not even bothered.
What, you didn't want to use the widget?
Yeah. Because, my hands are... I'm a keyboard guy. I don't like going to, mouse or anything like that if I can avoid it. But I know that's a preference.
Dude, this is so good. This is like, I know this data is,
getting pretty good.
It's getting amazing, dude.
Right, here we go. Okay, so why is it not bringing up 01? Deep reasoning capabilities. Right.
Do you need to call it 01.md? Like, does it not realize that it doesn't need to consider the MD?
Oh,
as the agent
there. No, that's it. This is summary. It's summarized it to be helpful. So I could have gone up here, right, and gone. Where's Switch?
So the only additions I'd make to this file structure is that you need to make each customer be its own file, because it's written all the customer details in a single file at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I was having too much fun to actually.
This is epic, dude. This is epic. Like, it just made so much data, and it's not even wrong. It's just like it got told to do the wrong thing. I think that garbage in, garbage out applies more than ever now. But that is remarkable. That is absolutely remarkable. And the performance wasn't all that bad.
Until I see. I'm going to throw this. I'm going to throw this in just in case it works. I don't think it will. Done. Which is what we were talking about before. That will not work because it's not prompted.
Right. So what I was trying to get at with the commit graph is that in this situation, you'd be able to open up a new tab, remote into this one, click on the commit or the branch that this one is on, edit the switchboard file from a distance, save the switchboard file, and then go back to this thread and run it. And now you're using a modified switchboard file that was done in a different thread.
Yeah, that mirrors what I've been doing at the moment, which is show me the contents of this, I copy and paste it into a text file, and make the alterations one, and then saying replace.
Right. Oh, dude, this is getting so good. It's getting
now
so
we're talking
good.
To O1, Nick,
hey, O1 and our 15 million tokens a minute limit. There we go.
What was it saying before? What we're doing? Oh yes. Okay.
Why don't you use the voice recognition thing? I put that there at great expense for you.
Because it's weird talking out loud, isn't it? Okay, let's try it. Okay. I want you to create a set of test data of a reasonable size for agents stroke hammer.md, making sure that's self-consistent and you follow all the rules in that file.
You don't have to speak louder than you normally do, but clearly you have not used this feature very often.
Do you understand me?
I thought, you.
I only speak one language. Do you speak languages too? Yeah.
I can see how little you've used the transcription feature. Honestly, I thought that was the best feature, but you don't even want it.
The reason, that's an interesting one. This is really, I think, personal preference. It's useful, but yeah, you can see that I hadn't allowed my laptop to use it.
I've been using. Dude, I've been using it so bad that I've actually been using the DeepGram API Playground to record stuff and then copy paste it over. That's how bad I want that feature. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, first of all, I'm going to add to the mic button, it's going to be live transcribed, so you're getting some feedback of how well your words are being read. But I'll also make it so that you can put your cursor into the Markdown editor, and then the transcription will be inserted right where the cursor is. So you can run around the document and add little bits. And then the cherry on the top is adding a trigger to it so that when you click save or go or whatever, an agent comes in and cleans up what you just inserted because it knows it's a transcription and it was written by you. And so it focuses in on just the change and embeds it in, fits it into the document.
That'd be really
right?
cool.
That'd be useful, right?
Yeah, it would be. And I'm really interested to see what I'll get out of this Omi device. Because part of the thing, I think this is probably just getting used to it, but there's a certain cognitive break when you go record and you what's it about to say?
I know.
Whereas
you kind of want it to
I've
be
typed
all
for
the time,
my life,
right?
And it's like, I'm just going to think as I go along. But when you're talking, it's like, oh, no, I'm wobbling on. It's like, oh, no. Okay, go back.
It takes a bit of training, but that's what makes us old. And we need to, this is, you know how when we saw old people look at computers and they were like, oh, that's so weird.
Oh, man.
We need to get into this.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, sorry.
Look at this. Zero shot on O1. He's done it all with one shot. You're right. And it's written to the files. Well, it's fine. It's even done message.
No, it didn't write to the files. It doesn't have that ability. That's an API limitation from OpenAI, but it's pretty much like what you could do now is you could tell, say 4.0 to read that message and convert that into individual files. And so I think that maybe, I don't want to place bets on how long it'll take until O1 can call tools and that, but what seems a good pattern is to use O1 for the wisdom and then 4.0 to just interpret the message that came back. because
Oh
4
yeah,
is very good
that's
at
a
that.
similar pattern. Yeah, similar pattern. Actually, before O1 came along, I was using me for most of it,
Mm.
except where, well, for the really obvious stuff, it's like, you should be able to do this. Come on,
Come on
man.
now.
And if it is like, this is a bit more tricky, I'll go to 4.0. I think
Yeah,
it's this
yeah.
similar kind of pattern.
Dude, these things are getting good, and I do
But
declare that we have placed
look
a
at
good
this.
bet
Right.
in this tool that we have here. I think it's a good bet.
Right. Let me try this again.
Yeah,
I want 3 times the amount of data, and make sure that you follow my previous prompt in terms of being self-coherent. That's pretty vague. I'm trying to mess with it now.
that's rude.
No, I like breaking stuff. That's why I was a graffiti artist at one time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, years ago. Back before
like
Banksy
Banksy.
made it a bit. No, it was years before Banksy. Banksy made it actually good. That was really rubbish.
Graffiti artist.
Oh, and I think they call it urban adventurers now. I was doing urban adventuring 30 years ago.
You've been dropped back into Hammer. Was that what you meant?
No, I
No.
wanted to stay with. That's because
Yeah,
I
switchboard.
haven't prompted.
Anyway, I think
switchboard.
we're pretty much now we're into you doing work.
Yeah.
My question to
Okay.
you was, given the tooling that you can see here, I think you can imagine where it's going once all the niceties are added, like saving, selecting, the commit
Yeah.
graph, whatever. Okay, what do you need that's going to get you out of VS Code?
Not that much, to be honest.
Yeah, it's that. What's the not that much?
So what would one is this? What I'm thinking about this. We're now talking about the file explorer, right? So this file structure. It would be nice. I don't know whether it's possible, but it'd be nice to be able to, well, of course, save the stuff to it, so
Yeah.
persistent.
Yeah.
But then when happy to put that up to the repo.
Yeah, you want to PR up, right? You want to
Right,
merge. Yeah. Okay.
and that's about it, to be honest.
No shit. So like, if I give you that feature, there's nothing else that would keep you using VS Code. Is that correct?
Yeah, because let me think. On VS Code, I'm never out of a connection, so that's irrelevant. So it doesn't need to be local.
Well, you have to have it because you need the bots. So,
Well, exactly.
and in fact,
I've got
this is
file
better because
structure.
it's like it's actually in the same data center as the bots, so that's better.
Exactly. So working on files, there is maybe a buffer thing where it's like update this, and it's like no, I didn't mean to do that. Until I save it, it's not, yeah. So let me work on this this file or this bot, and that is the context you're working in. But until I save it, if I say commit, it's not going to go anywhere. So
Okay. Yeah, that feels tunable. That feels like a fine detail, sort of a nuance to include. But I'm confident we can do that.
yeah,
Mate, that sounds pretty minor.
that's about it, really. I mean,
That's
it'd be
awesome.
nice to do it. Be nice to do it and undo, but
yeah. So you want to be able to go back to a particular message and then redo that or change it a bit and then go from there, right?
That's correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of embedded in here. It's like I'd go back.
Yeah, you'd go. Yeah, that's right. You'd go back there and go like, blah 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 blah. That's a really good point, actually.
So it's nested undos, but it's got that nice kind of. I've been really complex about it because the problem with undos, it's linear. Whereas branching is not necessarily linear. So with that,
that's a great idea. I hadn't actually thought of that, being able to tie. So what I want to also do is make the message stream on the left be selectable, but what what you're suggesting to me there is that when you select a message on the left, it should also select a commit on the right, so you know where the commit was that that message got made. So if you want to fork, you just start from there, and you can understand it in the commit graph as that's what happened. And now that gives you
Yeah.
that non-linear navigation, because in GPT, yeah, I guess ChatGPT lets you do that with the left and right buttons, but you need Git if you want to do something more complex, like take these two versions and merge them, or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
like that, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And then plus
Exactly.
we got this file system that comes with us. It's like, did you want the file system as it was back here, and you just want to redo the threading, or do you want to actually have the file system rolled back too? Like it's really powerful.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it is, isn't it? I mean, this is much better than linear undo, 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 undo.
Mm.
Go forward, go forward. Ah, shit! Now I can't get back to the thing that was down in the first place.
Mm. Now, have you thought any more about how to name our threads? Because they're a little bit ugly.
No, I haven't. I
Okay.
haven't given that any thought.
And
Sorry.
another issue that's coming up for us soon is topicization, because these threads are very rapidly going to get too large for the context window, which means that we need to summarize them, squash them down into some topics, and then allow us to keep our context window within limits.
Yeah, I think when we were talking about that, maybe 4 calls, something like that, it seemed doable insofar as obviously another bot that gives you probably anchored on time would be a nice way of doing it. So this morning you were working on this topic,
Right,
or for a few
right,
minutes you were
right,
working on that topic, and you go,
right,
yeah,
right.
because
That's
you
right.
know what you've been doing,
That's right. Okay.
for the last few days at least.
Dude, I swear it's starting to look like...
It's pretty ballsy, actually, and you can see how much progress. This would have taken me, God knows, this took me a couple of days to do with the old cut and paste
Really?
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
Because it'd
awesome,
be
dude.
like, and a lot of that would be just me doing, kind of, which tab is it?
Oh, like hunting and
Shit,
picking.
hunting
Oh,
and pecking.
oh
Yeah.
man, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it's all right because now I know what I really wanted out of this is like
What you really wanted becomes
this
obvious, right?
pain. Yeah, this
Yeah.
pain.
Pain teaches you what you want.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly. But
mate,
this is
I'm just flabbergasted and like ecstatic that there's very little obstacle to you ditching VS Code and using this tool full time. Like it
yeah,
feels very feasible.
yeah. Because remember, I was using VS Code in really quite a naive way. Is basically just
A glorified text
an
editor with Git integration.
exactly, yeah. Um, which for an NL world, everything is files or models, and that's it. That's all you're dealing with.
Mate, that's so epic. It just really came, like, I'm so relieved. Like, these are the features we'd been envisaging and theorizing about for months. And now it's kind of coming together, and I'm just thrilled that it kind of works.
It does, and it kind of works in a not shabby way, actually.
Actually, quite a
And
dangerous way. Like, when you think
yeah,
about the amount of text that just got written out to file there, like, that's kind of brutal.
yeah, but and if we gave this like a bit more thought on prompting, isn't it? Well, you just run a whole bunch of tests. Okay, so those tests are now stashed in a buffer. I haven't saved them, so therefore I'm not going to accidentally commit them. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to now create a new bot. And then you go, okay, so you want to create a new bot. And what does the bot do? I want you to take these tests and double check the thinking against this ERD and make sure, that test data is self-consistent. And then go, yeah, or no, or okay, right, rewrite them. And the rewriting thing is brilliant.
Right, yeah, it's pretty
It's
crazy.
like, you're just going to rewrite everything. Right? And the next step, from this, once I do a bit more, few iterations on Hammer, with the test data is take that test data. This is one of the previous bots that I've written, which is probably well out of date now. But it was to take test data and create narratives. Those narratives lead to test format, and then that test format leads to tests. And then we're kind of, I don't know what to do next after that, actually.
Live our fucking lives and go make all kinds of good things happen.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you just mention to me that the horizon? You just described the horizon. Yeah. You were like, yeah. I can't see past that point.
Yeah. I can't. Right now, I can't think of anything else in order to create a CRM or basically any bot to run a business that only needs a single bot. That's it. Now, if it needs something more complex, like self-reflecting and judges and that sort of thing, there's that to go into. But
that's amazing.
As CRM, because we've added tests in, it's almost like we. I don't think necessarily we need judges unless you want to run it against multiple models. But that just sounds like another test, right?
It does.
And so it's like with tests.
So we're seeing some things reduce because we're like the commonality between multiple models is it's just another test. Yeah. We're seeing some things collapse, like the reasoning space of 01 supersedes the reasoning of 4.0, but now all that means is the whole app becomes the reasoning space. So that stays the same, it's just scaled up. I think we're starting to see what the future looks like. It just the reasoning space just gets bigger and bigger, and the bots can. Okay, this is
in terms of
crazy.
In terms of like a programming environment. Well, you showed me earlier on with the extra widgets you got. It's like okay, so I've been building the CRM. It's like okay, now I'm going to ask questions about the CRM to make sure I've not messed up. Can you show me the ERD? Can you generate, because you've got the tests, generate a bunch of narratives and then show me the swim lanes? And then, okay. Yeah. Oh, no, it doesn't make sense. Okay, right. Make a change, tests, run. No, it's self-consistent. Then it's like, okay, I'm going to go from the ERD. I'm going to get some flows. So flowcharts up. It's like, okay, so flowchart in this instance, how would it work? Test it, boom, happy. As far as our program environment is absolute balzer. Absolute balzer.
Sweet.
You never need to go. You don't need to go anywhere else.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? And then I'll get to add in browsing, so it'll fetch web pages and be able to process what you pulled in from web pages and then check them in the background to see what changed.
Yeah, and you can add in, upload files to it.
And then I think,
here's the data.
The amount of times I copy paste between VS Code for code and ChatGPT for 01 preview to do my coding for me now, I think I'm just gonna hook it up here, and then I can write isolate code here by chatting.
Well, that'd be an interesting test because I'm doing it from the NL side. That'd be very interesting to see if you can actually do.
It's just, I don't know if I've gotten stupider, lazier, or the things I'm trying to do are harder, or the bots are smarter, or all of the above. But I feel like I want to just sit back and talk, and maybe do some spot editing here and there. But in general, I reckon these bots can code the types of things I need to code now.
Well, 01 is like off the chart coding in terms of. Again, it all comes down to having the bots sense check you. Because 01, I think I said this just on the day that it dropped. It was like, I'd give it quite a complex prompt, and then just give me the answer. And then you pointed out, you can go back, on the public site and you check the reasoning out and so on. But it's like, it was almost too good. It was like, I know I know I've got that wrong somehow, and you just give me the answer. It's like now I've got to read this answer. So there's still that kind of self-reflecting piece to be done. But again, to put it in a bucket, this is something OpenAI is going to be able to do.
Oh no, yeah.
But the testing piece, I think that's not their bag.
They don't want to. No, they don't want to. And the file management, like they don't want to get into the business of file systems. Having
and
Git, being able to
commits.
present Git as an interface to users, that's a massive victory. Like Git has been around for a while, but it's just a massive pain because you need like it does everything, but it's hard. And here's a way to navigate it to advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so
mate,
so
this
anyway,
is
I
looking...
guess the horizon is, I'm not saying how close it is, but yeah, on the other side of that lake there, something like that. You can
Horizon's coming, eh? Like it's like, wow, this is it. This is the thing.
Yep.
It's looking crazy.
And then it's just a matter of, because we need to deal with people. Then it's like just widgets, but we've got the state board.
Yeah, and then I'll hook up our email. Our email starts flowing in.
And it's like, oh, I want to use Zapier. It's like, okay, all right.
Fine. And then we start working on the Dreamcatcher to do the fairness allocations. I mean, what I just saw here with O1, I'm like, that's going to be easy, relatively speaking.
I think what it's going to do is, because the attribution is, I think, still needs a bit of finessing from our thinking around it, but
we'll get there very fast. These bots will help us.
I was playing it on the again on the day of O1 dropped, and I don't think I've still got the session. I was just throwing in some things. I gave it the Dreamcatcher ERD, and it said, okay, so let's talk about impact crystals. It's like, and I was going, I put in all the examples that we had. So say if there's a journalist that was publishing articles about war, and I was getting in information from these sources, and I got a picture, and then there's this other guy that's a link to who did something on Instagram and so on. Tell me what the possible impact crystals could be, or impact dimensions could be. I did a pretty good job, actually. Not bad. And then I added in the article, wins the Pulitzer Prize. It's like, what's the impact now? And it's like, but it's also relative. And it's like, well, I'm only interested because I'm a photographer in the photos. It's like, okay, so here's the dimensions. It was just a list. There's no display of it, but it was an n-dimensional list with weights. It's like, it's not too bad. It's not too shitty.
Okay, that's cool.
So
that's cool.
I think even impact crystals is. I wouldn't say that's on the horizon. I think that's other side of that mountain. But it's definitely within reach.
We are making some massive progress now.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, right, I'm gonna have to go.
Sweet man.
Anyway, all right, now KBO, and I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll try and get that call lined up as well. See if I'll use this slot tomorrow if everyone else.
Perfect.
Available.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice one.
Sounds good.
We're going to do that slightly odd Californian thing. Yeah.
How fast can you do it? Like.
That'd be better, wouldn't it? Give that go. Oh, dear. Right.
Sweet. All right.
I'll see you next time.
Okay, buddy. Cooking on gas.
Yeah. It's definitely hard. It's hard.